Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Bush Poppy Farm. I hope you are doing well. It is the 3rd of July, and we're going to do an early summer garden tour. So I wanted to do this garden tour yesterday, but unfortunately I woke up with a migraine at 6 a.m. and it lasted all day. So 2 doses of my prescription medication and a lot of sleep later, I'm much better this morning. So we are going to have that garden tour I had planned on. And I'm doing it as early in the morning as possible because the sun right now is still behind the trees, and that means that the light is better. It's not so glaring, and it's pretty chilly right now. It's about 58 degrees Fahrenheit, so that's why I'm wearing a sweatshirt in July. So we're going to start here at the beginning of the vegetable garden, and I just wanted to talk about this patch of wildflowers I have over here. I have planted California natives a few times. Some of them survive, sometimes they don't. We've got this patch right here of gumweed, which in some areas in Washington and Oregon, it is a marsh plant. This variety is for California, and it's very drought tolerant once it gets established. Now, the funny thing about this is I chose this plant and I put it in this location, kind of in the middle of the bed, under the expectation that it would get to the height and size that the tag said, which was 12 to 14 inches high and about 12 to 14 inches wide. And as you can see, that's definitely different from this height, but I'm not complaining. What's in the front row here is lavender and a little bit of California poppy and a pumpkin that sowed itself because I left it here and it rotted. And so there's a bunch of pumpkins in the front here. But what is also in this bed is this thin leaf milkweed, which is, as you can imagine, a butterfly haven. This is also a native here. And then we've got that beautiful terracotta yarrow that I showed you guys the other day, as well as some mint behind here and blackberries, but they are the thorned kind that are wild in our creek bed over there. So I cut this one out as often as possible because it is really not fun. Super, super thorny. And we also still have a small patch of California poppy there. All right, so welcome into the garden. Over here, we've got some very tall calendula. This is also a Maximilian sunflower, which hopefully will get some blooms on this year. And then of course the peonies are still just green, but still looking beautiful and healthy. So I used to call this area the raised bed garden, but I kind of can't do that anymore because there are raised beds here, but there's also now raised beds down there. And yesterday I bit the bullet and ordered more. Epic Gardening is having a really big 4th of July sale right now, so I got a 4-pack of the Birdie's raised beds for 25% off. So that was worth it. I'm gonna go ahead and convert some of those. This big fat bumblebee here. So this is my cucumber trellis this year, and the alyssum is gorgeous on the bottom here. We've got a little sunflower right here. The cucumbers are finally starting to put on some growth and climb. We are finally having some heat in the day. And we also have pumpkins on this vine. So we've got some little, those tiny little orange jackpea little pumpkins. Those are growing up this trellis as well. And then back here is one of the tomato beds. These tomatoes are coming along. They are more shaded than the ones in the lower beds that we'll go to in a few minutes because this part of the garden is shaded by these trees for a little bit longer, but they're doing fine. And then down here, we have a whole bunch of volunteer potatoes. And the reason I haven't pulled these out yet is a lot of times I have found that the volunteer potatoes are the ones that produce the best. So these sprouted from some potato that got left by accident a couple years ago in this bed. And so I'm gonna leave them go until they are, dead, and then we'll pull up the potatoes and see what we've got. Now, these are also a solanaceous crop along with the tomatoes, so they get along pretty well. And then here is the bed that we did just the other day, direct sowed corn, as well as a couple more pumpkins and planted those sweet potato slips in there. We've got the irrigation fixed, so everything in there is looking good. And this bed, it's going okay. I put these guys up this trellis in the hopes that you know, we would be able to grow squashes up it. Here's another volunteer potato. They're doing all right. They're starting to flower better, which is good. And I did just give them some fertilization because you can see how yellow they are in places. But the fruits just aren't setting, and I don't know if that means they're not getting pollinated or what, but that is what's happening with this trellis. Now back here we've got our pomegranate. This pomegranate actually gave me one fruit last year, and the squirrels got to it before I could. They actually chewed a big hole in it, and so it was rotten. I gave it a really hard prune this spring, and it's looking super healthy. I don't know that we'll get any fruit this year. I would love to cut it back right now, but if I do that, then I'm sacrificing potential fruit because they don't really start setting fruit until the end of summer. Behind us here is and it's attacking the pomegranate. This is a red seedless table grape, and it is just loaded. I'll try to bring you guys in close here with grape clusters, and I'm so excited. This is the first year that I think we'll actually get some real grape harvest off of this. We've had grape clusters in this before, but they got eaten because they were too low to the ground. These guys are still, the clusters are big, but the fruits are still very small. They haven't swelled yet. You can see in here, these guys are lots and lots of grape clusters in there, just not swelling yet, but getting close. And there's some more over here. So I'm very excited about that. I'm especially excited because we lost our entire blackberry crop this year due to rodents. So this is, it's growing back, and I don't know, it's possible that it'll fruit, but I doubt it. So you can see, hopefully along here, all of this has been stripped back of leaves. I know it looks like deer damage, but the deer on the other side, they always work that side of the fence. I guess it's possible they can get up on their hind legs, but I don't think they could have gotten this stuff down here. And if they had jumped into the garden, I would know it because everything else in here would be gone. So I'm pretty positive this is rats and squirrels. So we are getting lots of fresh new growth here. I don't know if that means that maybe we'll set up flowering. I think we might be past that time, but you never know. So we lost our blackberries, but we did get blueberries. The blueberry bushes look great. They are pretty much done for the year, but we did get some nice berries off of them. And this is the time of year that the pollinator patch is just going for it. We've got this beautiful buddleia here. I do not remember the variety. I just gave it a pretty hard cutback yesterday to get rid of some of the dead blooms. It will push more new blooms. The salvia over here is just starting to come up, and it will be probably blooming by August, and then it blooms all the way through frost. And the rose arbor has just exploded. We've been harvesting roses for months, and I still can't get over the fact that I had trimmed this thing down. See if I can find a clip from that video to put in here, to just nubs all along this entire trellis, and it just exploded on me, which is so awesome. Okay, my 4-in-1 apple tree, we do have apples so far. My gopher protection, that is gopher protection, it's gopher wire. I've been using it to keep the rats from chewing through so far. That is working because those apples are growing, and hopefully we'll be able to keep them until it's time for harvesting. And then here's just the interior view of the pollinator patch. We've got some penstemons in here, a candy tuft, and lots of salvias and some more penstemon back there. These guys will all just keep pumping flowers until the end of the season. Okay, I want to apologize for all the traffic noise. It is like early in the morning, people are going to work, and we're on a busy road, so it's very loud. But this is my my artichoke patch. Now, we would have had a beautiful artichoke harvest, as you can see, but when it was when they were very close to harvest, I noticed that they were infested with aphids down deep inside of all of the leaves. There's a katydid right here. And Also, it was covered with ants. So the ants were farming them. So I knew it wouldn't be worth harvesting them because it would be next to impossible to get them aphid free in order to eat them. And it just kind of was just gross. So I thought, that's fine. They make beautiful flowers. So we've just left them and I've been enjoying them. But the foliage is looking awful. It is very close to time to cut these off, cut them back, and they'll start over for next year. And this guy here is a kale tree. It's really fun. These can live up to 12 years, which is crazy to me. I just continue to peel back. It's really tough kale. Yes, you could totally eat this. I could massage it and have it in salad or whatever, or cook it down. But what I do is I peel off leaves and give it to the chickens. But yeah, it's really fun. I do have it staked because it would not stand upright on its own otherwise. But yeah, this is a really fun addition to the garden, and it does provide food for the chickens. Speaking of the chickens, they have not been fed yet this morning, so they're going to be loud in the background. This bed is doing pretty well. This has peppers in it, as you can see back here, that I did not pull once they got completely stripped of all their leaves. And they are starting to put on some new growth at the very top. A few of them, like this is a habanero right here, are producing some fruit. So I'm just trying to keep setting traps all around the base of this bed so that maybe I can get a few pepper plants producing. There are sweet potatoes in here as well, sharing shade from all of these squashes, which are producing. We've got some baby pumpkins here, yellow squash, some other zucchini, the round zucchini, and a Casparita pumpkin over there. And like I said, nasturtiums, things like that. So we've just got a kind of a mix in here. And there's a bush tomato back here that has been producing little cherries for us. But like I said, I am leaving these peppers. I don't know if they'll have enough time in this season to put on enough growth and fruit before our frost hits, because they're so slow growing. And we've been so cool still. So we'll see. I'm just thankful for what is still here. And the sweet potatoes are actually starting to grow and looking good, the plants themselves. And then this little breeze bed right here just has, that's a round zucchini. There's a little Casparita pumpkin right here that you can see peeking out. And so far nobody has eaten her. And then we've got another squash here that it's an abominable squash, but it's gotten predated upon so much. It only has one leaf. That is that one. I don't think it's ever going to produce anything, but I'm leaving it there for now. Okay, in this first U-shaped bed, this row of tomatoes never does as well as the one over here that I'm going to show you next. I don't know if it's because it gets less sun or what, but it is producing. There are tomatoes on there. Then we have a tomato right here in the middle, which is a bush tomato. I think this one's cream sausage, and it is producing fruit. Now this row of tomatoes is doing a lot better. There's lots of fruit on these. I keep tying them up more and more with Florida weave, and I'm hoping that we can keep the animals off of them long enough for us to get a good harvest out of here. These orange and tangerine gems, marigolds from Botanical Interest, are outstanding. These guys are such great producers. They have been flowering nonstop since I put them in. Now all of these guys, it's a different variety. I don't even remember what it is. I got it at the nursery. But they got eaten down to stumps. But they're coming back and they're gonna start flowering again, which is nice. So in an effort to preserve some of my squashes from being destroyed, I have started trellising them. And you've got one right here. Let me see if I think this is mashed potato squash. The funniest thing is it looks, oh no, it says Cinderella pumpkin. If that's the case, it's gonna be too big, but it almost looks like a tomato. It's got a very shiny sheen to it. It's really heavy. I think I'm gonna have to sling this with some like stockings to keep it from breaking the stem, but I love that look, and it's growing healthy in the back. We've got a little Casparita pumpkin. Now along this trellis, I had a video, I don't know, a week or 2 weeks ago maybe, where I sowed climbing beans along here. They all germinated and they all got eaten except for this one right here. So the ones that I started in 6-packs in the greenhouse the other day, they're gonna come out here and I will cloche them for a while until I can get them trained up. So yeah, most of the stuff in this bed has disappeared because it's been eaten. This is leftover mustard that sowed itself last fall. This is the Florida giant mustard. I also love the red giant mustard. It is so good at fumigating the soil from any pathogens or anything you had. And we had bad rust and fungal disease in this whole entire garden last spring because of weird weather patterns. And so I planted a ton of mustard over the course of the year. And in fact, in the bed that has the peppers and the squashes and the sweet potatoes that I just showed you, I had that whole bed full of mustard, chopped it all up, buried it under compost, and then planted in it. It's really good at fumigating, biofumigating, and getting rid of all those fungal diseases. I still will not plant potatoes in that bed for another 2 years, just to be on the safe side, because we had early blight on potatoes in that bed. I want to give it enough time, the mustard enough time to work, as well as not planting solanaceous crops, other than the peppers, but they don't seem to be suffering, that might struggle with that same fungal disease. So as you can see down here, this was all supposed to be corn, and only one of those stalks survived. And of course the rats ate the tassels off the corn before it could pollinate the one ear that was there. So corn is done. We will not have any corn this year, although I did just sow some more in that upper bed and it's covered, so hopefully they'll be okay. We do have enough squashes here. These are black cat pumpkins, which I'm super stoked about because I've been wanting to grow these for years and they keep getting eaten. This one, what is I don't see the tag anymore. It might be another black cat. And we've got mini squashes growing on all of these. This one is, oh, no, that's not solstice corn. I think it is a sweet meat acorn squash. That looks about right, the little green guy. So I'm trellising them where possible and helping to support them growing up. It keeps them from getting predated upon as much. So in this bed, we have one surviving pepper. This one was completely denuded of all of its leaves. It's possible it will come back now that the bed is covered. We have a watermelon here. We have another one that I direct sowed here. And we have a bunch of snapdragons in here. And the reason I covered this is that I noticed that the other watermelons that I planted in here were completely gone overnight. So this will stop them for a little while. It's clipped to the sides, so it's pretty tight. They can get in if they really want to, but like I said, there's still easy pickings elsewhere in the garden. So this bed over here was peppers, and as you can see, that was decimated ages ago. I have decided not to replant anything there. And this bed, it's got some really pretty nigella growing in there, and the sweet alyssum likes it too. But the beans that I'd planted in here that did germinate got eaten, so they're digging in already. I do have some pumpkins coming up that I'm going to leave, so this is going to stay covered for a while. It's not super effective. Then we have this bed here, which is doing well. The beans that are here, these are the only beans on the whole property that haven't been eaten yet, and that's because they are under cloches. So, and then there's a couple pepper plants in there with them. These peppers, as you can see, were defoliated and they are trying to come back, so I'm going to leave them. We've got a gorgeous crop of nasturtiums. The funny thing is the rodents will not eat the nasturtiums. I guess because they're too peppery, which is funny because you always hear they don't want to eat peppers, but they eat my peppers all the time. But this bed is doing well. I'm going to have to take the cloches off at some point because the beans are going to get too big in there, but I don't want to risk it right now because they're the only ones growing on the whole in the whole garden right now. So that's where we're at. And then this is the biggest surprise. This is a nectarine. This tree cracks me up. So I haven't harvested these yet because they are still very, very hard. But as you can see, this tree is loaded, and I did thin it of fruit months ago when they showed up. The funniest thing about this tree is that the trunk is in here inside the chicken run. its roots get disturbed all the time from them digging. It has grown, watch out, baby. It has grown through the fence here on this funky angle, and that one branch has produced all of the fruit that you just saw. This is absolutely nuts. Now, it's growing here in here as well, but because of the shade cloth, which is very necessary, because of the shade cloth, it's not able to grow tall. But I just think it's really funny that this tree has such a will to live that it grew through the fence and has one strong branch that is producing so much fruit. Okay, we're gonna take a little break here for a second and give the girls treats. Hi, babies. Hi, babies. It's okay. Yes, I know. You guys really wanted some salad, don't you? Yeah, I'll say the scratch is good, but we want some salad. Hi, Flo. Hi, baby. You're so sweet girl. Hey, sweetie pie. Wap, wap, wap. We have some broody girls, especially the one on the right. She is sitting, they're both sitting on a bunch of eggs. I need to harvest the eggs, but she's making the noises that the hens, you hear that? Yeah. That's a noise that the broody hens tend to make. So I need to harvest those real quick. Unless your hens are actively hatching eggs, you really don't want them to become broody, because what they do is they sit on that nest. They don't come off, except once a day, really, to eat and get a little bit of water. And they'll be there for 28 days expecting the eggs to hatch. And of course, since the eggs aren't fertilized, since I don't have roosters, they'll stay there until they hatch. So you have to break that brood or they start to lose body health because they're not eating really, and they're definitely not drinking. And when we're going into a heat wave in the middle of next week, that's really crucial. So let me collect eggs and then we'll continue on with the tour. What's up, good girls? What's up, good girls? Oh, you're already back in. Yes, I see you. The good thing is none of my broody hens have ever been aggressive to me, trying to peck my hands or anything like that. I know they're not happy when I take the eggs. Hi, Flo. I know, baby. Good girl, good girl. Watch out, I gotta pull this out. They've even been laying eggs outside of the nesting box, which is another sign that somebody's broody. Because when they won't leave the box, there's no space for anybody else to lay. Yes, good girls. Okay, let me put it back. Francine. Yeah, it's a good girl. All right. 10 eggs. And they're not done laying yet today. Some of these are from yesterday. So as I mentioned, I bought 4 more raised birdies beds. I'm gonna do one here, one there, one there, one there. And maybe I'll still keep in ground on the edges of these U-shaped beds. I don't know yet, but I can't keep having this mass devastation, and things are easier to defend inside those raised beds. So my microphone batteries died, which means I'm on my phone now because the camera microphone is pretty awful. But we're almost done anyway. I'm going to do a different video, garden tour video of like the bedding plants and all that kind of stuff. So this was just the veggie garden tour. But I do want to show you this one bed right here next to the garage. This bed has not had any irrigation for years, and I planted this up years ago. So we've got some hot lip salvia over here. We've got a euphorbia that blooms in like February. It's gorgeous. And then we've got some penstemon, beautiful lavender, and I can't even remember the name of this little shrub here. But what I wanted to show you is this Western redbud that I got from Stark Rose. It was just a stick we planted it and it is putting on growth. So I don't expect it to do much this year, but I am watering it every couple days to make sure that the root ball stays nice and moist and it can get its roots going so that maybe next year we'll get a lot of growth on it. Now this stuff in the back is Heavenly Bamboo. It's horrible. I know some flower folks use it, but I can't stand it. So we have been trying to pull out as much as possible. And then right back there are the beehives, and they're still in there right now because it's quite cool and breezy. But one of the chores I have coming up next week is to harvest honey. I'm late doing it this year. I think it'll be fine, but I also think I'm going to struggle to get those frames out because I haven't been inspecting like I should, and so I'm sure there's lots of propolis sealing those frames in. So it should be an interesting day. As usual, I want to be able to go in there and not spend too much time. It'll be a nice warm day when I do it. In fact, it'll probably be kind of hot. So most of the bees should be out foraging, but I don't want to have the hive open longer than I need to. So we'll harvest honey. We'll extract it in our extractor and bottle it and put that up for sale for our CSA folks and other folks in the area. So thank you so much for hanging out with me today and joining me on this early summer garden tour. Hopefully you could see that, you know, it's definitely far from a perfect garden. There's lots of things, lots of failures, lots of things that have gone wrong. And that's just life. Like I didn't even really bother to clean up or weed or anything in there. So what you saw is the real life stuff. So in the next day or two, we will do another garden tour that is just the rest of the property, the cottage garden, the walk that is starting to put on a lot of growth and it's looking great. And then we'll also do a farm tour. So 2 more videos coming up with that material in mind. So thanks again for hanging out. I hope you have a wonderful time in your garden and I will see you in the next one. Bye.